I got a great package for you today on how to track and evaluate your job search. But this is a very, very career-oriented, life-oriented lesson today. So if you are here with me live, get in the chat, say hi, let me know where you're from, let me know what you do, let me know what you need, put some question marks in front of your questions so I can answer them in the Q&A portion of this. And if you are in my Job Search Bootcamp or my leadership program or any of the Mile Walk Academy programs, let me know. Use your hashtag. So what do we got today? Well, I've been thinking a lot. It's January when we're doing this live, and over the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, I've been doing a lot of reflecting, a lot of evaluating, and all that good stuff. And I was thinking about, the questions I've been getting from you guys, and it dawned on me that if we are not really experienced in what we're doing, or we've just not seen it a lot, it doesn't matter what it is. Me and my business, you and your job search, or whatever. Maybe you're new. Maybe you're new to a career. When we see things, it's hard to know if they're a pattern and what conclusions we should draw, and what's working, what isn't, and just what's kind of an odd event. And the real risk that we run being inexperienced is we start to draw conclusions, and then we send ourselves on a path, maybe trying to course correct, and it can be very confusing. So what I want to do today is I want to help you in how you should look at, whether it's your job search or anything in your life. How do you look at something? What areas do you evaluate? What data might you need to gather in order to draw these great conclusions? So I want that's what I want to talk about. That's what we're going to do. And I think I've got a clever way of showing you this with a little bit of a lens through my business. And at the end of the day, where this stuff all comes from is me and my business and what I do and what I can teach you from it. It's you, the community, at these live shows asking me your questions or raising the key points. And it's in my one-on-one coaching sessions where I'm interacting with people, whether they're in my job search bootcamp or high performance coaching, and what they're asking me and what they're wondering. Now, I've talked about how to look at your job search before in a couple of different places at a couple of different times. If you were with me back in December, we did this 4-day shebanger where I gave you 3 email lessons on certain areas that you should be evaluating of the main steps of your job search. And then we came together on the 4th day and did a live show. And I want to call your attention to this little beauty if you haven't grabbed it. It's my 10 by 10 job search formula. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because this is a great tool that helps you in the 10 key areas of the job search. Major steps, major faults, tripwires, the mistakes people make, what you should do instead. And you can evaluate the health of your job search from your desk and what's likely to happen based on how in order you are on certain things. And then in my job search bootcamp, if you're in my premium paying program, my job search bootcamp, I have a tracking tool where I've shown you kind of how to list out the different activities that you are going through in your job search in a very detailed format so that you can run your job search. So between evaluating it from your desk, getting it in motion and running it and keeping track of what you're doing, those are a couple of times where I did this. But what happens when you're in motion and all of these activities are occurring and you're not sure how to read certain things? And let me give you a great example. I was doing a coaching session a couple of weeks ago, somebody who was relatively new in my job search bootcamp. And he said, Andy, I kind of went through the program and I started to go through the job search challenge portion of kind of the exercises. And if you're not familiar with my job search challenge, check it out on the YouTube channel. But ultimately, this is about identifying organizations that you want to work for, people within those organizations, and then sending them messages in attempt to either submit yourself as a potential candidate or build a relationship with them to ultimately get them to help you with your search. So there's a lot of activity here. Well, he said, so I started the challenge. I was going to do it for 7 days in a row, and I was going to send 3 messages a day. And I sent the message on the first day, and I got this really nasty response back from a potential boss who basically scolded me for sending him an email. And he says, what the heck are you doing? And you're supposed to go through our applicant tracking system. It says so on the website. And so my client here, my coaching client said, and as soon as that happened to me, I was stunned and I stopped doing what I was doing for 3 days. I was thinking maybe this isn't the right approach. And what do we call that? We call that random, right? We call that a unique event because we went on to talk and I said, well, okay, that's just a random butthead, right? That's nothing, right? What happened with the entire week? He said, well, after I, was, disoriented for 3 days, I started it and I did 6 more days in a row. He said, I had faith in you as my coach. Andy's saying to send these messages out. I'm going to do it. And then I'll draw a conclusion after a week, which is not even a long time. But he went on and I said, well, what happened? He said, well, 10 people got back to me, that one person, and then 9 others. I said, what happened from that? So I got 3 interviews, right? So this is what I'm talking about. That one event that occurred for him, the first time he tried something, just coincidentally the first time, was a random event. It's not reality. It's just a random event. And so that was a bad random event. What could be a good random event? How about you, the first time, putting your resume into an applicant tracking system and actually immediately getting a response and an interview? I would call that a random event. It worked in your favor, but still random. If you note the percentages that I tout and the likelihood that you're going to get an interview that way, right? And so what are you doing? You're possibly course correcting with random events. And let me tell you, I wrote this out because I wanted you to see it in a note card, okay? Because this is vital to the way we live our lives, because most people who are inexperienced at whatever they're doing or something that they don't see very often, they course correct based on randomness. So I wrote this little card for you because I want you to remember, maybe take a screenshot of this or catch this on the replay. Problems don't bother me. Randomness bothers me, okay? Randomness bothers me, and it should bother you. Because if you do not have the experience, this is going to happen, and you're going to try to self-correct, and you're going to self-incorrect is what you're going to do. So I don't want you to forget this, that you may be at a spot or a stage in the job searching process, in your sales process, in your marketing process, in your company building process, in whatever, where it was just a random event. It's just random. Okay, so I want you to understand that. And one of the things I told you, for those of you that were with me in the goal setting bonanza we had January 1st through the 8th, last week we had a live session, and I was telling you that I started my training business, this coaching business, in middle of 2015, and then I started selling stuff at the end of 2016, and so now I've been in business for 4 years, and now we're turning into 4 plus almost 5 years, and I had never identified a particular revenue target for the year, right? I didn't feel as though I had enough data to predict what a good outcome was. And you guys know how I feel about outcome goals, and if you don't, get my book, Out of Reach but In Sight. But ultimately, I never did that. So a couple of weeks back, I spent 2 entire days looking at every single month of 2020. And what I did was I got this booklet. So I use these journals, and basically, I don't know if you can see this upside down, but I go through a qualitative and a quantitative analysis, and I look back at everything that occurs. I want to share with you the things that I focused on and how exactly they map to your job search and what I would do if I was you. Because now that I've been in business for a number of years and we've run a number of different events, I went back and I looked through all of it. Because along the way, we try things in different formats at different times of the year to different audiences, different mediums, and all that good stuff. And to give you an idea of the kind of the gyrations that can occur in my business, I remember it was May 14th, 2018, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Maybe you were with me back then. And I did a webcast, a live 3+ hours, taught my butt off. For like 90 minutes I taught, and 90 minutes I answered questions. And at that moment in time, I offered a special pricing sale on one of my programs. 350, almost 360 people attended, and absolutely 0 people bought the program. Now, you got to know, you don't know how hard it is to do to get 0 sales even on my worst day or anybody's worst day, okay? But if I would have assumed that that was a pattern or tried to draw a conclusion that that medium did not work, this would not be happening right now, right? It was a data point. So surprised was I? For sure. But pattern? No way. Because some of the webcasts we have, 20% of the people enroll in programs, sometimes 10, sometimes 15, sometimes 5. Okay, so didn't have enough data points. So I went back and I looked at everything that I did, and I want to tell you exactly what I did and why I did it, because that one random butthead boss who gives you a nasty response, that one glowing email you get from a recruiter who wants to talk to you because you stuffed your resume in the applicant tracking system. Randomness doesn't bother me, and randomness bothers me. Problems don't bother me, randomness bothers me, but the thing that's most important that you got to recognize is that you can eliminate randomness in your analysis by getting more data. So I didn't stop after that webcast that didn't result in a lot of sales or no sales, right? So this is what I'm talking about in your life, in your job search. So I went back for 2020, and here's what I looked at. I looked at 5 things. I looked at the projects, the format, the marketing I did, the results I got, and the conditions that were around it. And Kara, do me a favor. Let me know if it's becoming obsessive. Just Slack me again, and I'll swap the mics. All right. So these were the 5 things that I looked at. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, like projects. A lot of you are familiar with my work. So a project could be a 3-day email series. It could be a one-day multi-hour webcast live. Could be a recorded webinar. Could be a 4-day workshop. Right? Could be many things like that. So I looked at all the different projects. Then I looked at the format. Was it live? Was it recorded? Was it via email? Did I email beforehand? Did I email afterhand? Those kind of things. What was the medium by which I delivered it? What marketing did I do? Did I just put some social media messages out and email my email subscribers to my newsletter? Did I market it on Facebook and Instagram or things of that nature? How much did I market? What videos did I use? All those good things. That is the level of marketing that I did. And then what were the results? So what happened? How many people read the messages? How many people showed up to the event? How many people signed up to the event? How many people enrolled in a program in the wake of the event? Those kind of things. And so those are the results. And then conditions. What were the conditions? Well, what day of the week was it? What time of day was it? What was the product itself? And how often was I marketing it? Was it pre-coronavirus, post-coronavirus? Those kinds of things. So I literally went through every single month, practically every single week of the year, and this is what I looked at. And it gave me more consistent looks at what variables, when we change them, actually matter. Because things that I might think matter, once we do them, it may show me that they don't. Okay. But also, if it's the first time that I change the variable, I don't have enough data to draw a conclusion. And this is what happens with a lot of you. So with you, how does this map to what you do? Well, take a look at your projects. Now, I want you to think about, you go through the 10 by 10, you make sure your stuff's in order, okay? You start and you track however you want to do this. If you're in my job search bootcamp, I give you the tool to track it and you can make your notes. But if you're not in my job search bootcamp, you put a spreadsheet together, the little database together. I don't care if you write it on a Word doc, in a journal or in a Word document or whatever. But here's how I would look at it. So your projects are things like, I submitted my resume. I actually sent a message to somebody to connect with them. Maybe I attended an event, right? These are the things that you do that are, now this might have been a very short project, but you will do a lot of these projects, which will help you collect a lot of data. Now, this, you got to look at the second component, because the format is what matters. So, which resume version did I send? Did I send the resume version with these particular highlights? And I was searching for a senior product management role. Was it this one where I was searching for a senior project management role? Kind of thing. So you want to know the resume version, perhaps the cover letter version, perhaps what networking template you used. This is the format of what you sent. Maybe it's I sent it via LinkedIn. Maybe I sent it with a direct email. This is not an exhaustive list. I'm just trying to give you an idea of things that I would make sure I was looking at, because this stuff, you need to accumulate enough data to know which one of these is working. And then, how did you market yourself? Well, did you go through the applicant trashing system? First one here. Maybe you boss hunted. Maybe you recruiter hunted. Maybe you HR person hunted. Okay? Maybe it was a friend who referred you. So what marketing vehicles did you use? Did you have traffic? Were you trying to target LinkedIn long form posts that you were using? I don't know. And whatever it is, whatever you were doing, but what medium did you use to actually market yourself to get the results that you likely wanted to get? What could the results be? Well, am I getting interviews from applicant tracking systems? Am I getting responses from, or interviews from boss hunting cover letters? If you don't know what the boss hunting technique is, just check it out on my channel. The network responses. Are people actually getting back to me? Are they not? How long is it taking them to get back to me? All interviews to job offers, those kind of things. But what are the concrete things that you can see? These are working, this isn't. Okay? But I think you also need to look at the conditions. So the conditions, well, when I'm sending the boss hunting letter, am I sending it to the manager or am I sending it to the VPs? We had an individual in the job search bootcamp who was a managerial level, and he thought by sending his boss hunting cover letters to other managers that he would have better results. But I said, no, you need to send it up the chain. You have to go after directors and vice presidents. And as soon as he did that, as soon as he made that one change, he immediately started getting a 50% response rate. So these are conditions or part of the makeup of the environment that you're sending it in. Is it a small company? Is it a large company? Right? Is my job, does my job consistently report to the same person within a particular organization, or can it be in various divisions? These things are conditional, they matter. When did I send the message? Did I send it on a weekend? Do you know that our emails, we send emails on any given day throughout the week, depending on what the email is and what the message is that I'm communicating with you. But no matter what message we send on Sunday, gets more opens than on any other day of the week. I would have never thought that, right? So these are things you need to be capturing. Were there lots of applicants? Am I going on LinkedIn and they're saying there's 4,000 applicants, and you're trying to submit your resume and you think you're a perfect fit, but there's 4,000 applicants, right? That matters. Is there 4 other applicants or 4,000, right? These kind of things matter. So I would take a look at the project itself, the format you're using, the marketing medium that you're using, as well as what the results are. And then based on the results, are there associated conditions? Now, from a metrics standpoint, you can look at all of this, and this takes some time to gather the data. Now, I know we all would like to find our dream job within a week, but some of you have been searching for weeks, and some of you have been searching for months, and some of you have been searching for a year, right? The data and the accumulation of this kind of data will genuinely help you. But the other thing is, there are some metrics that I would obsess over that serve as a little reminder that from Andy to you, you are doing the right things and you will get results. But I've talked about these before. You want to make sure that no matter what you're doing, you're tracking the number of companies that you've identified, the number of people that you've communicated with. Have you built a relationship or started any kind of relationship, right? Because not every person that I contact is going to turn into an acquaintance or a relationship, even if it's a cool one, maybe it's a warm one. Thoughtful messages that you send and the interviews that you've received. These are the 5 metrics I would absolutely obsess over that tells you you are in motion properly, okay? Even if you haven't evaluated it this way that I've shown you with the projects through the results and conditions, this element over here, when you're looking at the kind of the 5 new ones that I just showed you, is helping you determine how to make adjustments in your search based on the results you're getting, based on the other factors. This here is telling you that you've come a long way and you are doing the right motion. Now, the evaluating of the results based on the conditions is going to help you make the adjustments. Should I alter when I send the messages? Should I alter the cover letter that I'm using? Should I actually just keep going and consider that a random event? That kind of stuff. So really quick, just to recap it here. Focus on the project, focus on the format, the marketing, the results, and the conditions. This will help you course correct effectively, okay? And it will help you get rid of randomness. Randomness is evil when it comes to making adjustments. Just remember that. All right, hope you enjoyed that.